um,
Powers on.
peer pressure. I think that's. I'm trying to get the name, but I get it. I got somebody I can talk to about that now. So, because they asked me that I wanted to, I said it didn't bother me because I'm not like that. I can talk to them.
Gotcha. Yeah, peer pressure is like,
Yeah, that's it.
it's a thing.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
you don't like it too much.
I don't, because I find that if someone is applying peer pressure and they're not getting what they want, then it turns quickly to bullying. And I think that that's where a lot of our society is. Not all of it, of course, but I think that there's
Most
like,
of
yeah, there's a population that like peer pressure works and that's good, and then peer pressure doesn't work, so I'm going to keep pressuring until I get to the bully stage, and then that's just extremely aggressive, and I'm like,
that's like
good
joining
morning,
the game.
Demetra.
That's like joining the game or something. Like
Mm.
I'm watching this show right now. This guy, he's starting off how he joined the game until because you know that leaves you dead in jail. But I never wanted to do that because it comes back up.
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah, yeah. Peer pressure, bullying, trying to be coercive. Like it's one thing to share our opinions and perspectives from the I. Like I did this. I want to do that. Hi, Skylar. I feel this. I feel that. And then as soon as I say, well, you should do this, and if you don't do this, then I'll do this. I'll only do this if you do that. If we start using bullying tactics, um, blackmailing,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like I'll do this only if you do this.
yeah.
And that's if you really look, and that turns into the system of propaganda. Where it's only you can come into this concert, only you can come in unless you buy this car, unless you get this shot in your arm,
That's
unless you are this color of a human. I mean, like, where does the line get drawn with bullying and blackmail and propaganda and indoctrinating? It's like it's a silly time.
it is. I'm
So
glad you said that. Eric Clapton, and him and Bruce Springsteen, they opened back up to tour again.
oh really?
Yeah, I watched the news, and they were talking about their concert. Eric Clapton said, "You come to his concert, you don't have to worry about getting fascinated." He
Good.
said that. But Bruce Springsteen, on the other hand, if you want to go to his concert, you got to get the fascination. You got
That's weird. I think that's so weird to tell someone that they have to do something to their body before they're allowed to do anything. It literally is a propagandized method of blackmailing.
yeah, that
It
what he's
really is.
doing.
Like, and it's like whatever you choose to do or don't do, like get the thing, don't to get the, like, do you boo, be happy about it,
Right, exactly.
and to put these stipulations on it, and um, I'm
Mm-hmm.
and and then I want to start because I want to share some stuff for this so we can get creative. Which I'll go ahead and start. Yeah. Because I can go down the rabbit hole with that, the propaganda and all the things. So welcome. Um, so something that kind of came up for me today that I wanted to share, and I would love for you all to grab something to create with or on, whether that's coloring in a coloring book, drawing. I'm going to be using a blank piece of paper and like crayons and markers and colored pencils. So something that came up as I pulled in today, it's Thursday, and I thought of Thor. It's Thor's day. It's Thor's day. And when I thought of, right? And so when I thought of Thor, I thought of, the god that put the hammer down, right? And when I think of this feeling that I have around this is, this big god character of sorts, this human magical superhero type of thing. That's okay. So it's like strong, and there's the hammer, and the hammer could like do anything. And once Thor put the hammer down, like, not that he like let go of it, but when he had a focus, he had a bullseye for this hammer, and when he hit it down, that's when things created change. Yes, it's hammer time, Charles. It is hammer time. That's my feet right now. Um, so when he puts the hammer down, that's when he imparted change. When he had the focus and was like, "Nope, I'm committed to this." That's when things began to change. And that's kind of where I want to talk about and create through today. Because something that keeps coming up, and it's funny because I even picked a shirt that says Radiate Love, and I didn't even think about it. But when, thinking about putting that hammer down, what if the thing that we are committing to, this, I'm putting this hammer down. What if that we are committing to is being a bright, like, boom, sunshine, right? Like, I don't care what, I'm going to radiate love. I'm going to be me. I'm going to express my light, my uniqueness, my radiance. I'm committing to doing that. I'm going to put that hammer out there and I'm just going to, like, boom, put it out in the world. Which means some people are not going to like it. Right? Because sometimes people don't have the right sunglasses on. I see someone that's going by purge season and they're saying, Jane, I don't know. Hey. And sometimes people don't like it. People don't like it when we are our unique selves, when we are well, when we're not using or misusing substances, when we're not codependent, when we're not placating and batting our eyes and saying, whatever you like, dear. Sometimes people don't like it. Right. Oh, Curtis, it's Curtis. Hey, Curtis, I'm happy that you're here. I wish you were here, but I don't know you're here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Daniel said, hey. But sometimes people don't like it when we are our real, sunshiny, unique, weird self. I love it. Do y'all like it? Do you like it when someone is their selves? Like when someone is unique, when someone is different, when someone thinks outside of the box, when someone colors in a picture, makes a piece of art that is like something you've never seen before, a perspective that you've never heard before. And it's interesting because all of these things can be really pleasurable and pleasant, or they can be extremely triggering. And I kind of want to talk about that while we create.
Yeah, I'm glad we brought it up. We were talking about that today, and how the tricky with the mind and all that stuff, because it gets you back to your trauma where you used to be. You're not trying to fall in that same trap again, because sometimes it gets wearing. Because I remember Curtis was saying one time, feel depressed when you go see. Feel depressed when you wake up, because I feel like that too.
Yes.
I'm gonna get up in the morning and feel happy about something, or I'm gonna be fear at something.
Yes.
So that way I be.
Sorry, I had to grab markers.
Time to time.
Yes. So Allison said, hey, and also Curtis says hello to you. Yeah, so what I am going to encourage us to create, unless you're doing your own thing, if you're doing your own thing, please do your own thing. Otherwise, I encourage you to either create this or have this in your mind and your heart while you're creating whatever. Is like creating a new commitment to be you in all of the colorful goodness that is. I'm talking like the you that maybe would be standing out at the bus stop and singing and dancing. And maybe you wouldn't have done that before because you wouldn't want to be judged, or maybe it's the you that is going to get on a stage tonight and sing into a microphone. And you don't, and you, maybe you're not a classically trained singer, but you sound like you, right? You can sing. Well, that's funny because you can. Everybody can literally sing. Right? Now, it doesn't mean that you and I are going to sound alike. No, we're not supposed to sound alike. Yeah. Are either of us going to sound like Mariah Carey? No. Does that mean we're bad? No, we're not bad because,
She got a very high pitch.
Yeah, she does. Mariah Carey is no joke. Yes, all of them.
I'm surprised they don't.
Yeah.
She didn't say one day. I don't know her someday.
Yeah. Someday.
Oh, that's be one of my favorite songs. I just like that song growing up.
What song?
Someday, the one you just sung.
Oh, I don't know. I was making it up.
Yeah, she had a song called that. Someday
Oh, that's right, Mariah. Yes.
Yeah, back in
Someday. And then
1990.
she's like,
Yeah, that was right before she came out.
yes.
Andre Grande kind of did steal her style a little bit when she first started out. So
Oh, yeah.
she felt kind of threatened.
Ah, don't you? Okay, so let's talk about that. And I'm starting off with a star in the middle of mine, and then I'm going to radiate out from that. That's what I'm drawing and doodling while we're here. If at any point y'all want to have chime in on your thoughts, whatever, please do. Like chime away.
That's
But
like,
yeah, think about that, right? Like, you know, you have these singers, right, in this example. And they're doing their thing and they're making money and they're unique. They're something different. Michael Jackson.
yes.
Like Michael Jackson was so weird and
Yeah.
different. Nobody moved like him. Nobody sounded like that with the moves. Like nobody had on the sparkle glove.
Nobody had on the mask.
Nobody had on the mask then.
We used to make fun of him.
Right? We used to make fun of that. And until we started to allow ourselves to feel it.
Yeah,
Right? At first it was like, this dude's weird.
he's crazy.
He's crazy, right? And then we started to feel it and we're like, our body wanted to move to it.
Yeah, like
And we're like,
moonwalk and stuff.
yeah, right? And so it's like, okay, my body's moving to this human's unique expression.
Yeah,
Okay. My body's moving to it. And then I open to it. And then I start feeling how good it feels to play in their unique energy creation. Right?
I used to,
No, you're good.
I used to get up as a little boy. I used to watch his videos from Greta, from Dad, from all this stuff.
Mm.
And I see another guy, Prince.
Yes, Prince.
And I was like, they was similar in a way.
They had similar. It was like they were comfortable in both of their sexual expressions. They were comfortable in their sexuality.
They was.
And when we feel that, there's something that draws us to that because it's our natural state, I think, of being.
Because, you know, Prince didn't do the internet and all that, so he was more of an old-timey person. He was so private. He didn't want nothing, now he was so private. But something did get out about him. He was so deep low. But he did share some stuff about his father. But when he died, I was so surprised.
Yeah.
He was so covered. They talked about all the stuff about him and stuff. But they said I listened to his first album. His first album was good. When he was in the studio doing that first album, he was nobody in the studio with him.
Really?
Because he told the record execs, he said, "Yeah, I'm in the studio." They looked at him like, okay, who he talking to?
Huh.
And then the guy was like, he doesn't know everybody. And then he was just singing this song, he was singing. Because the guy said he wanted to take you on the journey with him. He didn't want nobody, because remember, he trying to sue his record label.
Yeah.
And put the slave on his face. Because George Michael, who I love too, George Michael did the same thing with his record label back in the day too.
Yep.
Because, you know, he didn't he wasn't in his beat because he got hurt.
Is George Michael still alive?
No, he did.
Okay. Have you noticed that a lot of the beings, a lot of the humans that stood up to
I mean, that stood up for his record label too.
Yep, those that stood up to like their record labels, specifically in this example, they all ended up dead.
Yeah. Ain't that something? Yeah, you know,
Does anyone else question this?
Yeah, I know nothing about them. I'm glad you said that.
And they were the ones that were in their own magic creative energy, right? Being themselves, being weird, being different, making millions of dollars, right? And someone wanted in on that energy, right? They tried to duplicate it in others, right? Like they would take an artist and try to condition them and make them be like that person. And they made money and they did well, but they were not like the same, you know. They like no one could be another Michael Jackson, no one could be another Prince, like no one could be Boy George.
Oh no,
no one could be George Michael, like nobody could be David Bowie.
Exactly.
You know, like you just can't.
You can't do that.
And so the record companies in these examples wanted to reap the benefits, right? So they would take their creations and start to try to confine the artist smaller and smaller, be like this, keep doing the same thing over and over again, because we know that thing works. And could you imagine, like, if you were to say color this in, and then tomorrow I gave you the same thing to color in, and then the next day, but it's never different, like there's anything more to add, like, you would get so bored.
Right, just like so Metallica first came out in the 80s, they wanted them to be like a Motley Crue or a Portishead,
Yes.
and they was like, we're not.
Thank you for the heads up, Charles. Don't know why that did that.
I always like the different types of music. Anyway.
Yeah, like I think that when we do something creative, especially if it's like a hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone really likes it. There are going to be people that try to shove us down, right? Tell us, don't speak like that. Don't talk like that. Don't move like that. That's too weird. Nobody's going to like that, right? We have people that will put us down. We also have people that that will lift us up, right? That's great. I love it. Keep doing it, right? There are supporters.
Yeah.
And we have those that are that may not say anything, but then they try to imitate us.
Exactly. Duplicate us too.
Yes, they're trying to duplicate us, and that can lead to a lot of people fearing creative expression. Like, well, it does, whether it's, oh, I don't want to do it because there are other people that do this. Like, there are other people that color crayon or that draw flowers. There are other people that draw flowers. I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to be as good as, or whatever the reason is, and we don't.
As good about it either. I kind of like it because this is band I like to listen to the Doors. They were so free spirited about their music. They were so dark. They were darker than the Rolling Stone, the Beatles, and whatever. They were so dark, and their singer had a husky voice.
Mm-hmm.
I like Jim Morrison's voice. His voice is very good, and he did portrait. A lot of people say his portrait wasn't that good. Yeah, it was alright.
I love listening to the Doors. Who's your favorite band that was like really just different and unique? Like, because although, for example, although Christina Aguilera has a lovely voice, Homegirl's not different. There's nothing about her that is like, oh, that's different. That's unique. Like,
She put in with people because Nelly made a song. They made fun of Nelly because he did a song with Tim McGraw, on his third album.
Oh, really?
Over and over again. The song was okay. And people was like, Nelly, why you do that song with him? But they ain't saying nothing about Christina Aguilera.
Pink Floyd.
Oh, Pink Floyd?
Uh-huh.
Like
Charles said Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Very different. Like, Pink Floyd was really different.
Yeah, they was.
Like, and they really spoke about, like, a lot of, like, social commentary.
Yes.
A lot of people, like, just another brick in the wall, right? Like, to me, they were, and tell me what you think, and tell me what you think. Like, to me, one of their messages in that whole everything was being blindly following the system.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it was about, right? Like, that's how I took it.
Yeah, they went against it. They did what they wanted to do. See, like, when Kiss first came out, a lot of people didn't know who they were talking about. A lot of people was like, okay, they kind of weird. But they was like...
Kiss was weird.
They was weird. But they went on tour with Aerosmith because there was another band. They were weird like that too. Rush.
Yes.
And they was the only rock band that drank and they do weed. Everybody was like, why y'all not participating in that? Because lead singer, talking girl. He was like, because Gene Simmons said something about them. Why they don't do that stuff? Because they did it with gay, because they didn't do day because they was more
Mm.
like,
They got made fun of because they were different.
yeah.
So
So
Mary says hey to everybody. So here's a question, y'all. What's your favorite band or musician that has been like weird, like different? Like we've got Pink Floyd was mentioned. Yeah, Pink Floyd. We also like others that were mentioned were Rush. Yeah, you mentioned Rush. You mentioned the Doors.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix specific. Billy Idol. You know, like Billy Idol was different. Michael Jackson was very different.
I like the Cure.
You know, The Cure was very different.
The Smiths.
The Smiths
They were-
definitely
they were
different.
real
Yes,
too.
yes. So,
Butthole Surfers.
huh?
Butthole Surfers.
The Butthole Surfers.
Hey,
You just can't laugh. You can't not laugh at that.
The band that was just dressed up like clowns.
Oh, Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah,
ICP.
yeah.
ICP.
Yeah.
Very weird, but different band, right?
Yeah, they
Um,
more of a rap group.
It was
yeah.
like rap and heavy metal had a baby
Yeah,
with ICP.
they call
So-
it melody.
Yes. So Mary's asking what we're creating. So I am creating a star, and I'll show you in just 1 second after I fill this little line in. So this is what I have so far. It's a star. Which after Rodney said butthole surfers, now I'm seeing it as a butthole. Thanks. Right? Rage Against the Machine. Rage Against the
Yeah.
Machine,
They
totally
was a good
different,
band.
like very unique. So what I was talking about is today's Thursday, right? So it made me think of Thor. Thor putting his hammer down. And so like what if we're creating something today, whatever that is, coloring, a doodle, your day in general, and thinking about putting the hammer down and being like, F this noise, I'm gonna be my radiant self. I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to shine my unique weirdo life. I'm going to be me, big and bright and bold. And there may be some people that don't like it. There may be some people that think it's too much, too bright, too loud, too this, too that. And there may be some people that try to imitate it, right? There may be some people that support it. Like people are going to be different when we are different, right? Like if I came in here singing and dancing, and I'm the only one at PRN that comes in singing and dancing, someone may not like it. Someone may come in and think, "Ooh, well, Jane draws a crowd when she comes in singing and dancing. I'm going to do that too."
They want to be like
Yeah.
The thing about
Thanks,
Thor
Mary.
and the hammer
Paul McCartney and Wings in Boston.
is
Yes.
that Thor, but the hammer, it finds who's worthy of the possession of the hammer, the power of the hammer.
Ooh, will you say that again?
It has, it picks the person that has, it picks the person
That's like worthy of it.
worthy.
Ooh, okay. So think about this. This hammer that Thor had that chose him, right? He was worthy to hold it.
Yeah.
Like that.
They say Wonder Woman.
The same way with the sword. King Arthur's sword.
Okay.
Exactly.
So like King Arthur's sword.
Right, right.
So then what if, hey Kim, so what if, like to me, the symbology and that in alignment with what we're talking about is like only you are worthy of your gifts. You are worthy of your gifts because they're yours. So why not throw them down and claim them as yours? You know? And why not share them?
Yeah, because I used to watch the superhero movies too, like Superman, and I was like the X-Men and all that stuff. Like they did all the movies and stuff, like the Black Panther. Everybody was so shocked about the Black Panther. I've seen it about 2 or 3 times. That's a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Think about
Yeah, you saw it too.
superhero comic book, you know what I mean?
Mm.
This was my escape. This
Mm.
was my not feeling different in my family. I find some similarity in the comic book. So when they was like not, you know, abusing me, I was quite reading comic books.
Mm.
And I found that Marvel comic books was more cruel to my kind than DC comic because DC was kind of like hokey, you know what I mean? It's like no superhero had no flaw or no addiction or, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't a normal guy. He was a superhero. So he had to stand by superhero point. But these people in the Marvel world had hang-ups, habits, and hurts. And they were dealing with that along with being called to do superhero kind of thing.
Could you imagine? What's the one of the weirder superheroes that had like they looked really weird, or
Oh, Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler?
Oh, sure. I mean, he was all blue and he looked like an elf and, you know, he had a tail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nightcrawler, which I don't know all of the superheroes by any stretch,
He could not go out in public.
because he was like so weird, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. And what was his like superpower? Like, how did he serve?
He could walk around. He could transport himself, you know, to another dimension to wherever he wanted to go. He was like disappeared and it smelled like almond smoke.
Okay, so he could like transport himself.
Yeah, he could transport.
And then what would he do with that power? Would he like save the day?
He had the ability to use his tail, his 3 ounce of tail.
Hancock.
And he
I'll ask.
He was an acrobat. He was in the circus.
Oh.
Yeah, he was real acrobatic. That'll work. I don't know.
Cause like, could you imagine? I mean, I was just thinking like that dude, like he didn't leave his house much. But then like, how would he save lives?
At night.
Well,
I know
when he
he's
got with
So he
the
was-
X-Men, they gave him this necklace and everything that could morph him into a normal human being.
And then what would he do as that normal human? Like, how would he?
Go to school? And, you know, he would just go out. He went to a mall for one time. You know, he never been one. You know, and he'd be stared at. And he was blue. You know.
So like, but like, I think like, what would he do to save lives? Like, would it be like?
No, he could transport them out of danger.
Oh.
And he could
Okay.
touch you, and he could transport you. And
Okay, so he would. Okay, so he would be able to save lives through his own magic, or his own superpower, which was the teleportation, like getting out of a place. Okay, so could you imagine? And we do this to ourselves, right? We all have these special, unique gifts and traits and attributes. And oftentimes we don't want to leave our house. That was such a perfect example that you gave. We don't want to leave the house, right? We're too scared we're going to get made fun of. We're not going to be
I
welcomed.
was like that too. And then you know something else, since we talking about this weird stuff, Prince didn't leave his house either.
Sure didn't.
He didn't leave his house at all. They said all he did was just record. They say he got a lot of recording. So
Yeah.
he didn't leave his house. Michael Jackson got in trouble with the kids, molestation, and all that stuff. He didn't leave his house either. We
Really?
was talking about that. And then George Michael, right before he died, he didn't go out no more. He didn't leave his house.
Right. And Michael Jackson didn't leave either.
Yeah.
Remember? So Mary said, this is cool. And Curtis is asking about Hancock, which I want to get back to that.
Oh,
Okay,
with Will
okay,
Smith?
okay,
Yeah.
get back to that. Hold on,
Okay.
pause that one because I want to know about that one. I want to know about that.
Me too.
I want to share what Mary's saying. She says, I would like to draw the stronger version of myself, pulling off the old victim version of me. Then I shall take the old victim and cast it away. She says that Jesus Christ, or the higher power, higher power, told me that it is time for me to shine. That's so funny, Mary. That's like legit what I'm talking about today, is that like now is the time for us to shine. Like, for real. Like, you know, when I think about the sun, right? The sunshine, it shines on everybody. The sun's not like, I'm going to shine on everybody, but you. No.
What's the song called?
You know,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
It's-
it was.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, my sisters.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, you know, the sun is non-discriminatory in the way it just shines its light, its radiance, all the spectrum of itself, right?
The Porsche family
So,
song.
Okay.
It was them, or it could have been the
Now,
I don't know that one.
to answer
Um,
a question,
Well,
in one of the comic books, Superman separated himself. Well, and Captain Kirk did the same thing. And it was like
I love that.
good version of Superman, and then there's the bad version of Superman.
Okay.
Without the two, it was an imbalance with that person. So
Mm.
when you separate yourself from all this unkindness, you kind of lose something.
Mm.
So you know, both of them have to join together, and you know what I mean, and make its way to make you the whole. You can't separate one part of you, you know, just because of pleasing part of you, because it wouldn't work out.
That's so true. And I think when we do that, when we like separate ourselves from like the bad stuff, then we end up not seeing it, and then we don't shine that light there. Then we become a discriminating sun.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be discriminating. Like we've all been discriminated against. We've all experienced discrimination, and it really sucks.
Thank God made us as we are.
Exactly. Yeah, we were created as we are so that we could be as we are and as best as we can.
Just like we were talking about movies and different stuff. See, now they trying to ban Gone with the Wind. Some people say keep that movie. Yeah, keep it because they show you how people really treated them back then. But I seen that movie. I ain't had it. They trying to P2. They trying to ban that because it was racist stuff going on there. So they trying to ban all the racist movies and stuff. They don't need to ban them. They need to keep going.
I would like to talk about that. Because Curtis is saying yesterday, I was just talking about how the Joker is Batman's lower self, and that's why he never killed him. Right. So here's the thing, like if someone really is in light, right, in love, in harmony with all of everything, then they can see like the negative stuff, the bad stuff, and not want to kill it, like love it. Like I'll try to contain you and like make you not hurt other stuff, but we don't actually try to kill it. Like we actually don't, you know. I love that you said that. And I would love to talk about this because I think you and I might have a very similar perspective, and I also don't think we're the only. I think that we're that others have different perspectives. So you were saying that there are certain movies that are out now that have been out for a while,
Yeah, for years and years,
like Gone with the Wind,
They trying to ban that,
and they're trying to ban it.
Yes, they're trying to ban the movie with James Cagney in it. Why he went with the jail when he fought the guard. They trying to ban that movie, and they trying to ban some more stuff like that.
So trying to ban the movies because they're saying that it
had racial stuff.
Has racist stuff in it.
Then they had the Me Too stuff going on with the women. How the women was like, oh, he did this to me past. They try to ban those types of movies too. Because basically, those movies have all this. So.
That's interesting. So how do you feel? How do you all feel? And how do you feel about banning?
They call it cancel culture.
Cancel culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you all feel about cancel culture? You know, taking something that was created for whatever reason and like burning it away. It's the equivalent to burning books. Whether we agree with the book or not.
Yeah, they were trying to burn the Bible back then, like the people used to say. They didn't want to teach. They didn't want their kids to teach religion in school and all that stuff. Because some people say that's why things the way they are, but we didn't care religion in school, and this maybe all the stuff that's going on.
How do you feel about canceling these things and like taking these movies out of accessibility?
Love history.
I do too.
And if you have something that's documented a historical date, you must have accuracy. All parts of the movie should be brought out. It just wouldn't be real.
Yeah, wouldn't be real.
It wouldn't be of that period of time.
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm against that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
How do you all feel about this? About taking books or movies like Gone with the Wind,
White Heat.
White Heat?
Yeah, with James Cagney.
with James Cagney, and taking these movies out of accessibility because the content can be upsetting. It could be triggering and traumatizing, and it's also based on what was actually really happening and what still is happening
Back in that
now.
time.
Yeah, back in that time. So, do y'all think that stuff should be censored as well? Hearing Rodney and Daniel's perspective, they're saying like no, because it's a part of history and it is a part of a reality that was, and that if we don't yeah, and still is, and if we don't see it, then I guess like how could we change? And also taking it to from this perspective, is it glorifying it because it's making millions of dollars to be put on a screen? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Think about this. People was attracted to it to spend that $1 million and everything, you know what I'm saying? Because they really wanted the truth. They didn't want a lot. It's just like we were talking about. You separate the good from the bad. You know what I'm saying? Then you left stagnant. You know, all you do is they good and everything, and you don't know if it's good and everything because you're so good.
Yes.
You're not recognizing that, you know, maybe I did this, you know what I'm saying, and I wasn't supposed to do this, but I'm thinking I'm doing good. So you won't have no perspective of what would be bad. You have no to look back to, that would be bad. Even though if I do this for this person, that would be bad.
Yeah. I love that you said that. When you separate the good from bad, the light from the dark, the up from the down, you end up with stagnation. You really do. Like, even if you're just looking at like energy and the quantum, you know, if you don't have this, that, and the only thing you have, yeah, because it's all that, exactly. Because all we had, then it's just, it literally is, there's nothing. There's the nothingness. And the nothingness, I think, is a really great place to visit. Like when you're in meditation and stuff, like it's a great place to visit. And we don't live in a place of nothingness. We live in a place of a manifested world. Curtis says, no, the truth shall be.
Yeah, just like, since he said, I'm glad he said that. See, like, they talking about serial killers and all that. Like I was pointing out earlier, the mass shooters and stuff.
Uh-huh.
They talking about Charles Manson was the first serial killer. No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
Nah, he wasn't. It was Jack the Ripper. He was the first one.
Before that, it was like, what's his name? What was
I'm
that
like,
king that emperor of Rome and everything?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like all of the rulers, those were the first serial killers, and they did it so much that it was like a genocide.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he burned down Rome.
Yeah,
right?
Back in the day, yeah.
Yep.
Lizzie Bowling, she was the first serial killer. She killed her mom and her dad.
Yeah.
They made a movie about her on Lifetime.
Yeah. They did. Yeah, and it's
She did.
Well, yeah.
She did.
Well, and then that goes back to hurt people hurt people.
Yeah. That was back in the 18 something that happened. 18 something.
Yeah.
I read something on that stuff. That's like,
well, and it's you know, and then it's like, which part of us do we let our light shine? Okay. Thinking about hurt people. Okay. I just thought about Helen Keller.
Yeah, I was about to get ready to say about her.
So, you know, Helen Keller.
Blind.
Yeah, she couldn't see and she couldn't hear. Right. So someone took the time to show her how she could navigate her body. She gave her tools for self-regulation and navigation. Right.
Then she had to, I think she was married or something. I don't know.
I think so. And like, and Helen Keller ended up doing like all these wonderful things for like all types of humans with hearing and or eyesight and impairment, you know? Yeah. And thinking about this, right? Helen Keller let her light shine. She was like, I'm different. Right. I know I'm different. Mm-hmm. Not only that, I don't give a flying F. Yeah. I'm doing it. Yeah, like she let her, like she put her hammer down, right? And look at all the gifts that gave. And then what can happen, right? So imagine this scenario, right? Same Helen Keller, whether she wasn't taught, right? The person, I don't even remember the woman's name, that supported her in navigating with tools. Yeah. So she never came into Helen Keller's life, right? So this person wasn't letting her light shine, right?
Blocking her blessing.
Exactly. So now Helen Keller doesn't get to learn anything. So now Helen Keller ends up being what we would label as maybe aggressive, abusive, crazy. This you pick a label and put it on her, and then she would basically be held up in her own personal cell or hell.
Yeah, because she was blind and deaf.
Right.
They made a movie about her back in the 80s because she had a caregiver. Because this guy really liked to have a caregiver. He didn't care about she being blind and deaf. And she told the guy, "Oh, she don't want you. She don't want you." She told her a lie, and Helen Keller was like, "Well, yeah, because this guy really had feelings for her.
Mm-hmm.
He really liked her. He didn't care about what she had."
Yeah.
So that goes to show you that everything not what it seems to be sometimes.
No, nothing is as it seems. That's why I think it's so important for us to just like say F it, put the hammer down, and be our loving, light, like weirdo, creative selves.
That's why I'm so glad we speaking about this weirdo because it's been a lot of that then. Because I read on my Wikipedia phone, it was like that for years how people cast them out, and then they're the ones that really shine out.
Yes. I mean, if you think about it, any of the if you look at a lot of like Mozart or Van Gogh or Picasso, like any of these like famous artists, Shakespeare, yeah, these people were weirdos. They were the outcasts.
They was crazy.
They were. That's what they would have been labeled as. Salvador Dali. Einstein, right? And what was that? And really, what was that? Is that they were expressing themselves fully. They weren't afraid and they weren't confined. They were just being themselves, big, bold, bright, and weird. Yeah. And they left like so much. They left a big mark. They left a legacy behind for us to enjoy still and to be inspired by.
Everybody talk about this guy. You probably heard him. Zaka Zulu.
Mm-hmm.
They called him stupid, but everybody drank the poison. He was the only stupid one that didn't drink it. Everybody else died except for him.
Right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Drink the Kool-Aid, everybody.
Zaka Zulu didn't do it like the Jim Jones in the churches and all
yes.
that stuff. That was crazy.
That's nuts. That's different. And then Curtis says that he reminds us that religious gods, yes, religion, religious gods killed more people than anyone I heard of. Every time. And it's funny because Buddha never killed anybody, right? Buddhists typically don't either. Let's be honest. Jesus, who did? Gandhi didn't kill people. Jesus didn't kill people. Now, Christians will kill people in the name of. Martin Luther King didn't kill anybody. JFK.
No, exactly.
And JFK was a weirdo light speaker. He talked about some really off the wall stuff. And then it was almost like, we have to shut him up, right? So either people suppress us. Exactly. Either we get suppressed, we get uplifted, or we get mimicked. Yeah. And so I think now's the time for us to be like, I don't care if someone tries to suppress me, tries to mimic me, or tries to put me on a pedestal. I'm still going to create this version of me because why not?
That's
like why not just put that hammer down?
That's like we talking about people different. That's like Jack's sister, what was her name? Rosemary. She had a disability too, but his father, put her in a mental institution, had the doctor mess her mind up. She was like that for the rest of her life. But he never did go see her. But the only one went to go see her was Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife, mom. That's why they came up with special limits because of her. That's where that came from.
So here's a question. No one will hurt you. No one will steal it from you. No one will try to oppress you or suppress you. No one will put any shade on this light that you're about to shine into the world. What does it look like to you that you are your Eunice? Will you say that again? Start or art?
Can't steal your brain from thinking.
Mm.
Can't, if it pressures, you have good thoughts. Think about it. It's a lot of times, I get in thought when I'm threatened. Right?
No, those thoughts.
It's defense. When I'm going to go at this person and really immobilize them, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because their response is slow. I'm already in thought of where I'm getting ready to knock this person down.
So you're going to let your light shine in your thoughts?
Yeah.
I love that. That is like some really higher mind thinking right there. Like really, like to say like I'm gonna let this light that I am, I'm gonna let it be in my mind. Like that. Can we all just sit with that one for a moment?
Think good thoughts.
Yeah, like think good thoughts, you know, and not ignore, try to kill the bad stuff, but just like think good thoughts about the bad stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't knock it off until it manifests itself to be a danger or just real.
Yes. Yeah. Is this just a
It's really this
reality?
way, it's really just bad. You know what I mean? Because I'm in this thought right now. I think this is really bad.
Yes. Yeah. I think this is bad. Okay.
That's like,
Is this safe or not safe? Okay.
yeah, that's like we was talking about people trying to hide their true feelings or who they are. I'm gonna give you another example. Whitney Houston, she was gay. She was bisexual. She liked the women and men, but a lot of people didn't want her to do that gay side. But she was so hurt when her mom. Well, it was her mom too, but she was so hurt when she lost her friendship with Robin. So that crushed her. So Whitney, see, people embracing gayness now, but I think that she would be more happier with a woman. So that's why she was the way she was. 'Cause she was unhappy with herself.
Mm.
And a lot of people blame
Yes.
Bobby Brown of turning him to drugs. They say she the one turned him on to.
Yeah, because people like to blame others
So-
instead of just recognizing the thought or the feeling. It's just like, well, this just is okay. We like to point fingers and blame. Well, you know, she got onto drugs because of Bobby Brown. Well, but
Exactly.
they did it, and it's like, who cares?
Exactly.
You know?
Both of them was drugs. So,
Right?
but I still like both their songs. Some of their songs and stuff.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So what they did?
I'm trying to remember. You said something.
Me?
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Talking about how, you know, you heard that Whitney Houston was gay.
Yeah, she was.
And so think about this. You know, if she was hiding that, right?
She was high.
Then think about this. Whenever we hide a part of who we are, it starts to stagnate in us.
It showed.
We hold it in and it starts to actually kill us, right? Because we're having all of this light, this version of us that's like, I'm ready to be out. I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to be expressed because I am life moving through you. And to hold that in starts to create stagnation, right?
Yeah.
It starts to make us sick, unhealthy, unwell, because we're made to be that. And so how often do we go through this thing called life and we just hold in parts of ourselves because we don't want to upset someone. We don't want to offend someone. We don't want to embarrass ourselves. We don't want someone to know that I actually like peanut butter jelly, cheese, and Cheerio sandwiches. Because what if they think I'm weird?
Yeah.
Let's have one. My thing, and I keep bringing up Bruce Jenner. I don't even know why.
Bruce Jenner, yeah, he's another one.
This is the thing. I've done all the things that, said all people have like wanted me to do. I was his job. I had kids. I was married. Stagnated life. Now I'm going through my Bruce Jenner stage. I'm not cutting that. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm good in myself.
Yeah. You're allowing yourself to explore you. So it's like, and that's the thing. If I've held in all of the light, the expressions of me, I've held it in because I've conformed to what the system or the patriarchy or the preacher or whatever has told me I need to be, right? So I've held it in. So now it's like, I'm ready to shine. I'm putting the hammer down Thursday. Boom. I'm going to be myself. And then I'm kind of like, I don't know what the fuck to do. So then we explore it.
Exactly. That's like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They did an interview with Oprah, and they said that she was called racist slurs in the palace and all that. See, once he brought it out to the open, everybody was like, oh, "Why he do that?" But he was already ostracized in that family anyway. They picked the Harry over him. I mean, William over him. So,
because narcissists always have to have a black sheep. We talked about that.
He was a black sheep of the family.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I feel like I've been, we talked a little bit between the break, just about different labels and being labeled as being like on the spectrum and this and that. And I was just sharing how, like, if I had been allowed to fully be myself, that I probably would have some type of a label as being somewhere on the spectrum, because I'm like stupid smart and I see things that no one else sees in a whole lot of ways. And I also can't control parts of the way I express myself, although I've learned to edit it and to be conformed into the system. Anyway.
Bad word.
Conformity, right?
Bad word.
Yeah.
Don't bring that up. Hey, that's a bad word. I got to conform.
Conformity is not fun unless it's your desire and your
To
choice.
be that person.
Yeah, it's really, it doesn't lead to a very flavorful life.
What's wrong with you? Everybody has this kind of thing that they have to do in life, and you need to be a part of it. I'm like, it's always doing to conform.
Right?
Right, I want you to conform. If that's the word, that's the word.
Hey, at least they're telling you straight up.
Well,
I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm not trying to get you to conform, but do this. Yeah. No, I don't conform. Just do this.
Hey, he do it differently. He looks different. Hey, you saw how he done his hand? And what is that?
Right? So then thinking about
They don't
like,
walk that and all that
yeah.
stuff. Why are you talking like that?
Yeah, why do you walk like that? Why do you talk like that? Why do you sound like
give you
this?
another example since we speak of
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye's father. He was a preacher. He was a pastor. They
Mm.
made fun of Marvin Gaye because he had the same name, last name Gaye. His father was so jealous of his success because he didn't go nowhere.
Yep.
Our sister's name is Nutman.
Really?
Uh-huh. You know what it is? No. There's no my sister's name.
It happens. It'll come back.
She's the second born. My father.
It'll come back.
Hey.
Well, while that comes back to you, just thinking about like yourself, right? Just think about you and your life experience and all the times that you did let your light shine, right? So just for a moment, think about all the times that you were maybe a little loud, you were a little bit bigger in your love, you were the one on the dance floor, maybe dancing like no one else, or you were telling the joke that you made up and you're laughing your face off, or you're like just being you, being like a kid like you, okay? And I'm guessing if you've had a lived experience, anything like mine, that sometimes those were not necessarily supported, right? They weren't necessarily acknowledged. Like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. I love that you're like this. I love what you just drew. What is it? Pinzia. Never heard of that.
Marvin Pinzia Gaye.
Marvin Pinzia Gaye.
That's his name. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Did you go through the alphabet in your mind? That's usually what I do. Is that what you did?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? It just came to you. Stop thinking.
Hey, pick that one.
Okay. And so think about all these times that you've had, and at some point someone probably was like, no, stop, shh, be quiet. You're being stupid. You're weird. You're different.
Yeah.
Right. So
Go
in
away.
this,
No,
yeah, go away. Just like, or they go away. They ignore you. They shun you. They leave you, whatever. Right. So for this moment, kind of go back to that version of you, that timeline of you, and kind of tell yourself how awesome you are. Like envision you being that like weirdo kid that was being made fun of, right? For whether it's just the way you looked, the way you sounded, the way you moved, whatever. And go back to you now, who you are with all of your knowledge and love and light. And in your mind's eye and in your heart, go back to that human, that little version of you, and be like, you know what? You're so friggin' cool. You're so awesome. I love your freedom. I love your ability to move the way only you do. I love the way you sound only like you do. I love the color of you, the shape of you, the height of you, the way you smell. I know you think you smell funny because someone told you that. But dear God, you're awesome and I love you and you're perfect. Like go back to that version of you and give them that affirmation. And then see what type of light that fully lit up kid that was accepted can live like through you now. I think that's where the work is.
When I was born, things was different. Me and my cousin talked about this last night. Things done calmed down These be neighborhoods like right in St. Piedmont Court, Earl Village, and all them,
Mm-hmm.
and Fairview Homes. Them neighborhood was the worst. They was the worst of the worst. They had all the killings going on. Cause when I was about 6, 7 years old, we was driving through the school bus, and I seen the dead body in Earl Village. Somebody really got killed. This guy's neck was cut to here, and I was really and I never told nobody that. Well, I told some people about it. I kept that to myself.
Unresolved trauma.
Yeah, yeah, like we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
And I was like, I never seen nothing like that except for the movies, of course. But in real
It's
life,
different in real life.
yeah, I was like, I can't believe it. Then one day, no, it been about some years ago, I was walking my neighborhood. It was these two guys. They were pointing at somebody at the bus stop. Right over there where I stay at. Well, kind of in my neighborhood. They were shooting at these people at the bus stop. I guess they stole some drugs from them. I guess they owed them some money. So they shot up in the air. I guess the one who would do that again, we're going to kill you. And I was like,
Trauma.
I couldn't even move.
Yeah,
I couldn't move.
yeah, when we're in those modes of trauma, we literally go into fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or we just start annihilating. Like we literally, we blank. We just, I can't.
I pointed out my mind because it was just like, wow, you do that in broad daylight. That shows me the type of person you are.
Yeah, talk about how hurt they were when they were a kid. You know, and too afraid to like let themselves be loving and kind. Instead, they're going to be violent. You know,
just because you've been around that stuff, you dealt with that. You like we talking about, like right, we talking about generation PDS. You seen that going up because it's always been violence. So violence ain't nothing new. But you don't got to do what they did. You can change that.
Yeah.
You trying to change from it. You don't want to say, I don't want to be like this. I don't want. Oh, so you trying to turn your back on us? Oh, you don't want to go out here and bust your gun. You don't want to go out here and get the strap. I'm like, that's not what it's about.
It's really not. You know, it's like taking violence, right?
Yeah.
Can we love someone who's violent? We can. We may need to do it from afar.
Yeah.
You know, like just for safety and discernment. But like that's where we start to shine that light. You know, is we love anything and everyone, ourselves especially, and kind of like work through that. Like, you know, and there are different layers, so everything is multi-layered and there's always a different perspective for everything.
Yeah, that's true too.
But you know, I think that the point that I'd really like to anchor in today is just this, like, be this really bold, bright, loving light. You know, it doesn't mean to be aggressive, like, you know, you have your shades on, you're trying to sleep and want to come in there yelling and screaming at you because Jane said to shine my light. You know, it's more like I'm going to be my creative self,
Yeah,
and I'm going to do things in love. I'm going to speak up in love, because that is, you know, because if you think about back to the sun, you know, the sun doesn't discern. The sun shines on everyone. It doesn't discriminate. What is the sun? The sun is source energy. What are we? Source energy. And it just, so I colored stars, and I tried to make all of them look the same, but not, like with the same kind of color pattern inside them, except that one wonky one that's right there. And I kind of like that one the best. Is because it's the most different. Kind of makes me think about what we're talking about. So I want to thank you all for joining. And if there's anything that you drew or created, please feel free to like post a photo of it in the comments. I would love to see it. You can tag me. If there's any more support you need, please call Promise Resource Network. Reach out if you need a peer support person in your life, or if you want to be a peer support person in your life, or you want to come down and hang out in real life. Please do. It's fun in real life. So, and yeah, and thank you, Curtis, for being here. Says me, everybody else, and Daniel. And thank you all also for being here. Mary, enjoy the rest of your travels, and I look forward to seeing you all so soon. I love you. Take care of yourself and each other.